Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. Hope you're all well. Still working on this butterfly piece. Hoping to get it done soon. I'm especially careful with this 16 EPI weaving because, gosh, it really shows when you're not careful. Let's see. Robin, I just saw you always have trouble finding the live video. There's a direct link on my website at this right there. Go there, and at the very top of the page, there is a direct link. It says, go to the live video here, or something like that. I just put this dark line in here. I had these two colors for the body. This looks black in the camera, but it's actually dark brown. I had started with just this one, and I didn't like that I couldn't see the little body of the butterfly, so I took it out and added that dark line. I think I like it better. I was going to say, I hope y'all had a good weekend, but it's Wednesday. Let's see. Yes, if I could remember to use this little shed stick, things would go better for me. I'm glad y'all are here from all over. And some of you are weaving. And I'm glad you look forward to Change the Shed. Yeah, it is warm here. As Alex said, she's down in Denver, but it's finally spring. We're heading fast towards summer. I think it's going to be close to 80 the next few days. Of course, this being Colorado, it will probably snow again. Oh wait, it's almost May. It might not snow again. I keep thinking, I don't know when I don't know where we are anymore in terms of time. Mandy, I'll help you out with the meet and separate. I just think doing it with the yarn will be helpful instead of trying to figure it out in your head. Cool, everyone. Thanks for coming. I'm just checking through all of your comments. That's funny, Sheila. You've ordered, pretty much created your own Hairstyle Highland yarn card over the course of weaving. I once ordered all 64 colors of Hairstyle Highland in cones. It was really fun. I lined them all up on my deck and took a bunch of pictures. I might do it again. It was great. Pretty much used all of that up. I use that yarn when I teach. So glad that you are all here. It looks like you've been getting yarn and doing some weaving, and you're all having some fun. Gail, I just saw your question about when I finish this, will there be a change the shed cut-off party? I had not thought about that. I suppose that's a possibility. I generally don't like to cut things off in front of people. I think most tapestry weavers feel that way. It's kind of, this is a small piece, so it's not such a big deal, but especially on a big piece, the people who actually have cut-off parties where they invite people, I'm impressed by that. I never do that. I don't even tell my spouse that I'm cutting stuff off. I just cut it off. Because I almost never like it when it comes off. This is a different story because I can see the front of the piece. On a big piece, I can't see the front, and so yeah, it's a little harder. I am trying to figure out from the cartoon. I'm looking over here at the cartoon, trying to parse out this little guy's body. It looks like I need to put in an eye here. So let's do that. A couple of you I just noticed are asking about how tight warp tension is. I've had a lot of questions about this lately, actually. It's a really hard thing to teach online. I used to use the Mirex. They sell their looms with a little wrench. It's like a flat silver thing that has a cutout in it, and that is to go on the, you can't see this, but the wing nut on the edge of the Mirex to tighten it. And I don't actually use that wrench anymore because my warps were too tight. So but of course you can't compare how strong your hands are versus how strong my hands are. If your hands aren't strong, using the wrench will save your hands. So I don't want to say don't use the wrench, because if you, it's better for your body to use the wrench, of course, if you have any trouble with strength. So my warp is seriously tight. When I push on it, it doesn't move that much, but it's not so tight that my cuticles are bloody. The equipment that you use will definitely have an impact on how tight your warp can be or is. So it's going to be different for everybody depending on what equipment you choose. Mirex looms hold a really tight tension. They'll hold a tension, maybe this would help. The tension on the Mirex loom can be tighter than it should be. So you can crank the warp with a cotton seam twine warp. You can crank the warp on a Mirex loom to a super high level, and higher than it needs to be. Although, having said that, in France, the looms the Abusan weavers were weaving on, the tension was unbelievably tight. I couldn't believe how tight their tensions were. So I don't think there's really an upper limit of how tight it should be. If you like it really tight, it's fine. I don't know. See, I'm just flailing about. I don't know how to tell you. It needs to be very tight. Is all I can say. And as even as possible. Probably more important than how tight it is how even it is. So I'm going to try to put an eye in here. I've not used this white silk yet. This is, of course, from Weaver's Bazaar. I'm going to try to cut this off. I'm trying to cut this label without cutting the yarn. And let's see if I can get the scissor under one part of the paper. Okay. Oh, and I cut it anyway. Oh, well. Donna, that's funny. She says she just put on the third warp with fringeless and she could do it without Sarah holding her hand. That's the fringeless online class. Good job. You only have 7 more to go before you're an expert. Okay. Let's try a little, how shall I do this eye? In my head, I'm debating whether I use, so it goes right here. I'm debating whether I use 1 strand or 2, and it actually looks like I need to finish that blue before I can put the eye in. Okay, good. I get to put that off for just a second. Let's get this out of the way, maybe. So this color needs to fill in the bottom of this little eye. Hold on. There we go. Ergonomically, this is not the best position. Ideally, I would not have advanced this warp quite so far because I'm having to hunch too much. Ergonomics are important to consider. Okay, there. Oh, Janet, that's true. I was talking about the tension on the Abusan looms, and one of the reasons those looms, as Janet's pointing out, can go so tightly is that the beams on those looms have got to be, what, 18 inches in diameter? They're huge. So, and then they use a lever, of course, to increase the tension. So they have a huge amount of force. This is one of my objections to using rigid heddle or table looms for tapestry. Some table looms do work, but they have little tiny beams and you just can't get a very high tension on them. I know some of you disagree with me about that, but I think if you have other choices for tapestry weaving, there are better looms for tapestry than rigid heddle looms. They're great for other things. Okay, I'm trying to still make this little circle here under the eye. When you're doing little tiny things, the dots on the warp can be confusing. Look at that. It's yarn chicken on this one. Yarn chicken on the purple. I'm just gonna make it. Okay. There. There's my little 2-color butterfly. When I was designing this, I knew I was going to weave it sideways, so I made these little designs this way on purpose, because knowing that I'm going to weave in this direction, that's a form that I can weave. I think the original butterfly image had little points going this way, and that would also have been weavable, I suppose, at 16 EPI, but with tapestry weaving, of course, horizontals are easier. So that's why I did that. All right. I guess I will keep the number of strands the same on the white, which is 2 for this silk. The silk is very thin, and I'm using only 1 strand of the 18-2 Weaver's Bazaar. But this is Weaver's Bazaar silk, and it's thinner. It's almost half of the of this. This is the 18-2. I am gonna do a little eccentric outline. I may have the same thing here with wishing I could have a dark outline, but I'm thinking I don't need it because the value difference is much greater between the white and the blue than it was between this brown and the blue. Value matters. Let's see, the white does not go all the way around the pupil. This is going to be one of those little fussy things that at some point I'm going to not want to show you how I'm fussing with it. I am going to go with the 18-2 black instead of the silk black because I think I will like the eyes not being so shiny. So let's try it. That tail wants to pop out. I must be feeling ambitious today because normally I would not try to weave the most complicated part of the entire piece on camera. Just seems like a bad idea. Again, that little white tail. Filling in the bottom of that. I don't know if you can even see this. Filling in the bottom of that little round shape. Trying to make his pupils round. Ooh, it might. Maybe I'll be happy with this. Secret to circles. My first secret to circles is don't do them. My second secret to circles is that the sides have to be far higher than you think. The circle sides in Tapestry are straight lines, and they have to be longer than you think, or you end up with an egg. So this little circle will be taller in this direction than my mind wants it to be. Part of that is because it will squish down a little bit, but part of it is just because our brain wants to make it round, and we look at that and think, oh, the sides are going straight up, that's not a circle, and I need to bring it in, and then we end up with a really weird shape. Anna, that's a great idea. Anna said she saves the Weaver's Bazaar labels with a little piece of yarn on it. As a sort of color record. It's a fantastic idea. I wish I had thought of that years ago. I don't think Weaver's Bazaar does have actual color cards, now that I think about it, because I do have a set. So that's another option, is to buy their color cards. Laura, I'm using, she's asking about number of strands. So this is 16 ends per inch, and this is one strand of Weaver's Bazaar 18-2, and this white is the silk, and it is 2 strands. The blue and purple and yellow and orange were also the silk, and I'm using 2 strands of those. This is, I believe it's 32 silk, and that first number, the 30, is telling you how, it's telling you something about the size of the threads in their 2 plies, which is where the 2 comes from. So the silk is almost half the size of the 18-2. I don't know, y'all. I'm gonna try something. I feel like this is a good experiment. I'm going to build up the center a little bit. So when I do the bottom, I sort of outlined the bottom and then filled it in a little bit to make this curve get pushed down a little bit. And that seemed to work pretty well. And so at the top, you can't quite do it the same way, but I'm going to try to build a little hill here and then outline it. And I think that will work pretty well. It'll be close enough. So I outlined it coming down this. I only have 4 warps in this little circle, so, and then I'm gonna go all the way to the other side and hope that that works out. Then I'm gonna put that back, and in my diagram, that white comes almost all the way around. Kit, yes, Weaver's Bazaar this is the silk, and this is the Weaver's Bazaar 18-2, the fine Weaver's Bazaar. And the silk is also from Weaver's Bazaar. Sometimes the tip of a bobbin is the best tool, or a little needle. One of the challenges of the silk that I'm finding right this second is that it is slippery. It's not grabbing. So if this were the wool, this little this little bit would be grabbier and it would stay where I want it to stay, but the silk is not at all grabby. I could have maybe used one strand. No, it probably wouldn't work at this set. At a different set, I could have mixed the silk and the wool, and that would have helped with that problem. Okay. Not sure I'm gonna like that, but what are you gonna do? I am just pretending to be a small format weaver here, y'all. The shapes translate, it's just a little more, I mean, the way you weave it is not that different. It's just that weaving small like this is frustrating. And I do stuff like that where I just made a float. I'm talking about wedge weave in the next module of the design class. Some of you are asking about wedge weave, with a bunch of resources and a video from, a couple of videos from Connie Lippert and some resources. Thanks, Janet. I feel a little bit like she said I'm brave to weave something complex on. I don't know what I was thinking this morning. I just felt brave. This area is actually the hardest bit in the entire piece, and I can already tell right here I don't like what happened there, so I can guarantee you that I will take that off when we are not on camera. I'm going to fill this in now because I've reached my tolerance for fussing with that in public. And there are some, and I don't want to forget this either. There are some little antennae which I think are super important. So I need to remember to build up under here so I can put that antenna in. Yeah, and I need it to show with this fatter warp, so that will be a little bit of a challenge. Weft, sorry, against the fatter weft. Just like these, it'll be much like those lines. Okay, I think this goes all the way over. Let's try it. Yeah, and I think that is true. We were talking about Weaver's Bazaar, and they have changed some of their lines and colors. So she was just saying that she keeps up with the new yarns she gets by making little color cards. It's such a great idea. Okay. So my little antenna, this might be a case. This might be a case for splitting this, splitting off some of the bulk of this, but I'll try it this way, and if I hate it, I will redo it. Okay, so I built up a little hill there. And now I need an antenna color. And what's it going to be? Don't have a brown silk. So I think it's going to be this brown color. gonna split this again for this. In my head, I'm trying to decide. Y'all can't hear my brain, but it's quite loud at the moment. I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to start this piece of yarn in the center and make it meet in the middle. Whether I'm going to use 2 butterflies basically back and forth or just 1. And I don't think in this case it actually matters that much. I might go under 1 more just to make it a little longer. See that little curvy antenna? So I don't quite know how it's already 11 o'clock, but it is. Or whatever time it is, wherever you are. I will be back on Monday next week. Okay, we're going to bring these 2 together in a different spot, tuck them to the back, and hope that it sticks. So this is going to be a thicker line than some of these, just because I want to make sure it shows up. So we'll see whether I like it. There's another antenna that comes up here somewhere, so oh, actually it's right in there. Okay, that's not so bad. It's a good start. Ruth, I don't know if maybe you sent it just now. I don't remember seeing a pipe bloom, but it could have been a while ago in my email. You all should know by now that you should ask me questions in the online classes, because if you send me questions in my email, you might get an answer right away. You might get an answer in 2 weeks. You might not get an answer at all. I apologize for that, but I do watch carefully for technical problems. But thanks, Janet. The perfect antenna. I don't know. We'll see when I cover it over, but I think it turned out well. We can't be too picky at 16 EPI, right? Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival to Facebook page to join the festival this weekend. Are they doing? They must be doing a remote thing. I think, because I think Maryland Sheep and Wool was canceled, right? Yes. I'm glad that was helpful. I will show you. We'll see how the weekend goes, whether I get closer to the top, but I will bring it back next week and show you the top of the tapestry is right here. I'm only like 1.5 inches away from the top, so I'm pretty excited to finish it. I hope that you all have a great rest of the week. Yeah, I don't know. You all are talking about a pipe bloom, and Ruth, I'm happy to, if you did email that to me, I will search for it, and I can put it on the Change the Shed page, which is right there. But definitely put it, if you're in the Facebook group, put it there, or put it on in your class. Okay, that's what I thought, Laura, that they canceled Maryland Sheep and Wool. I'm worried they're going to cancel Rhinebeck. So today is not Friday, Janet. It's only Wednesday. I almost said have a good weekend. I will be back on Monday. I will not be here at Change the Shed until Monday, but I'll be here next week on Monday and Wednesday. So I will work hard in the meantime. And I do have a newsletter coming out tomorrow, and I'm working on a blog post. And check out Sarah Sweat's blog post from yesterday, you all. It actually was really wonderful. She's telling a story about her life and using the tapestries that she's woven. It's amazing. Just really an interesting way to look at tapestry and such. So, oh, thanks, Beth. That's really great. I hope that me just doing some weaving and chatting with you all is helpful in terms of just making you feel like it's okay to put your hands in the yarn and all of that. So yes, thanks you guys. It was super fun to meet up with you today. I will try to work on this weekend, but no guarantees. But I have new projects for next week after Module 5 goes up in the design class. So we'll have lots of new things coming on. And yeah, definitely fingers crossed for Rhinebeck, which is in October. But this was going to be the first year I've ever been to Rhinebeck, and I'm afraid it will not happen, but maybe it will. We'll see. Have a great week, you guys. Keep weaving. I can't wait to see what you're doing. I've put links of the things we're talking about now on this. Only for like the last week, I started doing that. So the stuff before that, there's not links in there. But this at that web URL, there's links to the stuff we're talking about. It's also under online learning if you just go to my website, navigation, online learning. And I will see you all next week. Have a good rest of the week and keep weaving.